So I'm out camping, which is why I'm in the dark, and I've got a little campfire going next to me, just over here. But on point with young Dave Smith debating Douglas Murray on the Joe Rogan Experience, the internet's gone crazy, and rightfully so. We've seen and identified quite the fall from grace from this gentleman, Douglas Murray. And, you know, it's a shame to see when anyone falls, not that he would perceive it in that manner. However, it's all good and well. All the debaters and articulate, scrutinizing analyzers have come out of woodworks and really, you know, debunked and made a fool of what Douglas said. And rightly so. Dave Smith was very eloquent, held punches, and everyone's been analyzing, you know, till the cows come home. So well done for everyone doing that. But what everyone's not really getting at, and Dave Smith's pushing towards more and more so, which I love to see, is above any and all analytical, logical analysis of debate, argumentation, strategy styles, and expertise, and investigative methodologies one could use and one doesn't, blah, 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 blah. There is just simply in the face, read plain as day, a utter and total lack of compassion in the face of Dougie Murray and every little expert that's in the industry, employed by or benefit in some way, or shape or form by the industrial military complex that is an ex-general, ex-military CIA analyst. They all come to these conclusions after official methodological investigations, which they hold to a standard above anyone else in their honest, intuitive feelings and what our very own eyes tell us, that they have conclusions that are above anyone else's, and therefore they're okay, and what they are doing is valid. And what we're constantly seeing Dave Smith is pushing, and what I honestly want everyone to really muster up the courage to say, there just is no compassion given towards the death, suffering, and agony in this avoidable, unnecessary genocide. And so when there is a lack of compassion in the face and they pull up this little lip thing, they do this thing when you mention the death and suffering from young children calling out for their mum under rubble. That is not a cost of war. Like, war doesn't have its own micro morality. They pretend and purport or want it to be and expect everyone else to think it should, but it doesn't have its own morality. It's human morality above all. You don't go to war and then we can do our own things. And our war councils and our human rights commissions and everything else is, you know, bent in the favor of war, so we can do X, Y, Z. However, they don't even hold up standards of their own admission. The international criminal courts are pointing their fingers, but nothing is done. No one cares. They've got their own experts that just they're funded by think tanks, by the industrial military complex, and their conclusions just are devoid of compassion. I think it was Dostoevsky pointed out that compassion must be the sole, if not a primary or the primary human condition or commandment. And yes, it's weaponized, yes, it's misplaced, but when it's absent in the face of pure death and suffering, of innocence, then no conclusions, no investigative methodologies, no expertise, so-called expertise, that fail in every single other industry, including this one, especially the war industry, can justify and validate and make something so devoid of compassion that is utterly immoral. There's no way they can make it acceptable and moral and just and validate what it is. So well done to Dave Smith. Keep going, mate. And I'd love to know your theories, thoughts, conclusions, and opinions on the entire industrial military complex and their think tanks and these ex-military generals who work as analysts and CIA expertise in the space that conclude that Israel may be doing something right, when in the face of pure human, basic, fundamental, spiritual, intuitively, instinctively understanding that there is wrongdoing, immorality exists. And if that is ever to be justified, like it's ongoing right now and no one's up in arms against it enough, sufficiently to stop it, then there is big cause for alarm across the world. So tell me your thoughts, tell me your opinions. And the one thing about the this whole issue is that people call anti-Semitism, whenever it's questioned or brought into question, these analysts that conclude that it's justified, when someone like Dave Smith said it's immoral, and it's not justified. It is utterly immoral. Like, I'm a spiritual man and I can see it's immoral. So what you can do if you're an Israeli or a Zionist or just a pro-supporter to the war against what they see Hamas have been perpetrators of, is replace Hamas, Palestinians, replace Israelis and Jews with any other nation and involved in and they can go through the same actions, the same conflict, the same genocide, the same atrocities, the same war, the same dropping of bombs, the same killing of innocents, the same actual objective actions can take place with exchanged races and peoples of different beliefs. And one thing's for sure, spiritual convictions and understanding on the deepest level can see the immorality still at play. So it's not about anti-Semitism, it's not about anti-Jewish or Zionist even. It's just purely immoral, because you can replace the groups in question there. It can be the US versus Peru. And if they're doing exactly what Israel is doing right now, any number of expert military industrial complex employees or beneficiaries of can bring about their analyses, their variety of data to produce meta-analyses and speak of such good outcomes in comparison to our previous wars, which are utterly immoral as well, will never justify and validate the immorality that is taking place. So forget your anti-Semitism call. You can replace it and look at objectively with different races taking place and doing the same actions and still call it immoral. Well, let me know your thoughts.